Released in October 2018, Red Dead Redemption 2 marks the culmination of Rockstar Games' ambitions to create the most expansive and immersive open-world experience ever made. And my god, did they snap. In fact, they didn't just snap, they crackled and they popped. With its intricate narrative, stunning visuals, and detailed world building, the game quickly became a cultural touchstone in the gaming industry, earning critical acclaim and widespread praise. But now, several years after its release, how does Red Dead Redemption 2 hold up in the larger scale? At the heart of Red Dead Redemption 2 is its world, a perfectly crafted representation of late 19th century America. Set in 1899, you take on the role of Arthur Morgan, a member of the Vanderlyn gang which roams across a vast landscape teeming with life.
There's gonna be a lot of folks dead in this room before it's done.
But before we go any further, this is not an ad. Before you skip, you've already skipped ahead. Okay, never mind. But I am currently in the midst of expanding my content on this channel to be much more than just professional wrestling, and specifically, I'm a huge fan of Rockstar Games, so if this is your thing... Dutch, look, if you click that subscribe button, it'll help me out a ton, so go ahead. Click that subscribe button for me, for Abigail, for Jack, for little Jack. The Red Dead 2 world feels alive, not just in geography, but also in the interactions it offers. I mean, perhaps you just went ahead and saw a racist police officer in Saint Denis, and now it's time to let him know that he just went too far.
I didn't take much. You bastard!
Another soul going down to hell.
Bonafide scrub.
Or maybe you just went ahead and picked up one of those cool bounty hunter missions, and now you're tracking down some scumbag on your Mandalorian shit.
You see that coat? That's Lindsay Walker's. We're gonna take that body, mister.
Well, that's what there was, and not a penny more.
It is simply the most perfect creation Rockstar have ever made, and I don't say that lightly. As someone myself who is a die-hard fan of Rockstar and has been since I was younger and loves pretty much all of their games and thinks these games right here are also damn close to perfection as well. And that is just a very short summation as to why I will always defend Rockstar Games like my name's Levi Ackerman and I'm fighting a bunch of Titans, okay? Wildlife roams freely, bandits ambush travelers, towns have their own routines, and NPCs react to your actions in a way that feels genuine and as if you could pull up to the gates of heaven. You could enter the gates of heaven and see a woman who died in the late 1800s and be like, ah, I know exactly what you guys went through. That's how realistic Red Dead Redemption 2 is. You could be like, I know what you lived. I lived it too. I played it. To which she'd go ahead and respond and be like, when the hell did they let you know and go ahead and speak so freely in society? And I'd have to hit her with an RKO out of nowhere. But speaking on the NPCs, the idea alone that I could just roam around this huge world and see those little white dots flashing and just know that I was about to get involved in some Western shenanigans, sensational. The weather changes dynamically too, and each season brings new challenges. The world is not just a backdrop, it's a key character in itself, affecting the mood, story, and gameplay at every turn. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, to be entirely dramatic. You don't play Red Dead Redemption 2, you live Red Dead Redemption 2. And I have to go ahead and admit, I only made it about halfway through the original game Red Dead Redemption and briefly touched on its DLC Undead Nightmare when I was a kid. But if that game is even remotely as immersive or enjoyable, then I cannot wait to go back and finish it. And I mean, given the fact that Red Dead Redemption 1 is now available on Steam and I can play it on my Steam Deck or hell on my PC, I don't think there's ever been a better time to go ahead and jump back in and actually play Red Dead Redemption 1 properly, because Red Dead 2 is a prequel anyway, so... I don't know about you, Abigail, but I'm gonna go ahead and hop on my horse and ride down and channel my inner John Marston. As I touched on a moment ago, this is another hallmark of the game. Players can stumble across abandoned campsites, witness the aftermath of a robbery, or discover hidden secrets tucked away in the wilderness. These moments, while optional, flesh out the world in a way that feels organic. There's always something to discover and the sense of wonder is ever present. The first time I ever played Red Dead Redemption 2, it felt a lot to me like GTA San Andreas. And how that world, even if in hindsight it's not the biggest world, but back then on the PS2 and original Xbox, it felt monumental inside. And I'm sure some of you can relate with what I'm about to say, but this part of the map right here, wondering, is that a Bigfoot Easter egg? Is Bigfoot there in that forest on that part of the map? Is he at Mount Chiliad? We don't know, but my god, it had me on strings for a long time when I was a kid. I was wondering. And I mean, for goodness sake, I can still kind of see him in the map. Like, I can still kind of see a gorilla there, or an ape, or whatever the hell Bigfoot is. I don't know, but I can see him. world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is extraordinary, its true power lies in its narrative. The game tells this brutal tale of loyalty, morality, and the inevitability of change, all through the lens of Arthur Morgan, a complex and deeply flawed human being and character within the world. A character who, of course, was not present in the first game, but John does somewhat touch on it in the epilogue by essentially saying that it's too painful to talk about what happened to Arthur.
Yeah. None of us would be here today if it wasn't for Arthur. But your pa don't like talking about him.
The epilogue in this game is pretty enjoyable overall too, and gives you some breathing time after the death of Arthur to help with those withdrawal symptoms you're about to have for the next few years while they make another game. Because don't get me wrong, I'm extremely excited for GTA 6, just like everyone else. I've been waiting since I was a literal kid. But in the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking about all these other Rockstar game properties that I want them to keep making as well, like a Red Dead 3, which I assume would come towards the end of the decade. Or maybe a Bully 2, which for goodness sake, I guess we're never getting that, but an LA Noire remaster, and LA Noire 2. You know, don't forget all these other Rockstar games is my point. The game takes its time to develop Arthur, allowing players to see him evolve over the course of the story, providing a nuanced portrayal of a man caught between the ideals of his gang leader Dutch van der Linde and how much of a bastard Dutch could be at times, and his own emerging sense of morality through the various tales in the story.
I got TB. I got it. Beating a man to death for a few bucks.
Arthur's journey is both personal and tragic. Throughout the game, Arthur grapples with questions of redemption, loyalty, and his own place in the world that's quickly changing. I know you'll see these memes where it's like, I am literally Ryan Gosling, I'm literally Rick Grimes, I'm literally Arthur Morgan. Well, guess what? I'm literally Ryan Gosling, Rick Grimes, Arthur Morgan. And speaking as literally Arthur Morgan, you know, that journaling feature, the fact that you guys all got to look at my personal perspective. Okay, I'm gonna stop the bit now. But I absolutely loved the journaling feature in this game, and it just made the entire thing so much more personable as you're getting to know who Arthur Morgan was and who he would become. Also, the customization, like being able to shave, change clothes, go into town, and do things for Arthur, it's so well done. The game doesn't shy away from exploring the darker aspects of his character either, from his past crimes to his moments of brutality. Yet it also presents moments of tenderness, humor, and humanity, making him one of the most well-developed protagonists in modern gaming history. I think to someone like a Lee Everett in the Walking Dead Telltale games, a Joel and Ellie in The Last of Us, or even a Nico Bellic as other gaming characters that were really well developed. But with that being said, back to the story. This game's story is expansive, full of twists, betrayals, and the quiet moments of introspection that make the highs and lows of the narrative so goddamn impactful. I have said what I'm about to say to so many friends before, but it is a goddamn shame that so many people are never going to know the story of Arthur Morgan, and on a larger note, the entire story and world of Red Dead Redemption, just all because they aren't gamers. I truly believe if this game, along with GTA 4, were ever to be remastered into movies or even TV show adaptations, they'd be some of the greatest of all time. I even went ahead and saw a TikTok recently of someone basically casting all like different celebrities who could play Red Dead Redemption characters, and let me tell you something, this would be one of the most expensive castings of all time. But with that being said, we are seeing it nowadays with the modern redemption, pun intended, of video game adaptation TV shows and movies. You've got Fallout, you've got Last of Us, you've got Sonic the Hedgehog as all modern prime examples of where this kind of thing is really succeeding nowadays, but I digress. And also, while we're here talking about Red Dead TikTok, I saw a TikTok recently basically saying that it's canon that Jack Marston lived until the 90s, the 1990s. I was like, what? There's like a 99% chance that Jack Marston watched The Simpsons and Star Wars. That's insane. Red Dead 2's pacing can feel slow at times, but this allows for a more intimate connection to Arthur's journey and a deeper understanding of the world he inhabits. And believe me or not, but this is a genuine true story. I have a friend who started playing Red Dead Redemption 2 maybe like a year or two ago, and he genuinely stopped playing it because he said to me, quote, "It's too slow." And I cannot stop thinking about that one meme where the guy's mining and he stops right before he hits diamonds. I was like, too slow? It's supposed to be a little slow. You're immersed in this borderline fucking 5-hour movie of a game. Like, if this was a movie, if Red Dead Redemption 2 was a movie, this would be like 5-hour runtime. It has to be. There's too much going, or 2 parts at least. Or I don't know, maybe you split it into Red Dead Redemption 1, Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Redemption 3, and then you've got 3 movies spanning across 2 games. I don't know how you do it. The point is, my god, I feel sorry for anyone that stopped playing this game because it was too slow. Now I will go ahead and give you credit. Sometimes it can be a bit monotonous when you're on, you know, like one side of the map and it's like, you gotta ride all the way over here to this train station and get the train from here and then ride further up here north. I get it, it can be a bit monotonous sometimes, but at the same time, the game really handles it well with that whole like, hold down X and you can just automatically travel through the routes. You can genuinely get away with doing that and it's fine. Or even the various coach stops in this game or the train stations, they all help you get around. There's various ways to do it. One of the key moments of emotional weight comes towards the end of the story, where players are forced to reckon with the consequences of their actions, not just for themselves, but for the gang as a whole. The tragic inevitability of the game's finale is a powerful testament to Rockstar's skill in crafting a narrative that feels earned rather than contrived. Also, the various deaths, the various triumphs, the various tragedies of the entire group throughout this entire story are brutal. For example, one minute you're having great times with Lenny at a bar, and then you're seeing him or Hosea die in amongst the bank heist in Saint Denis. It's crazy how much I cared about every single character by the time I finished this game.
We can get across here!
You goddamn son of a bitch!
To the point where still to this day I'm thinking about how perfect Sadie Adler would be as the Red Dead Redemption 3 protagonist, because her story was incredible. They set it up so perfectly for her to be the one in Red Dead Redemption 3. And if it's not Sadie Adler, maybe you do a thing where like in GTA 6 they've got 2 protagonists, maybe it's Jack and Sadie, I don't know. The gameplay in Red Dead Redemption 2 is an intricate blend of narrative-driven missions, free roam exploration, and survival mechanics. At its core, the game is about choice, how you engage with the world, how you treat others, and how you shape Arthur's legacy. The question therein lies, are you going to go ahead and play the game like an absolute bandit and be filled with low honor, or are you going to be an upstanding cowboy who plays by the rules as much as they can? And there's also very much factors into the choice you make at the end of the game, which gives you a choice between heading back and grabbing the money, or alternatively you can help John reunite with his family, but regardless, Arthur's days are numbered and they both end in a similar way. Arthur's death in the first timeline where you head back is so brutal, where you end up grabbing the money, you get into a fight with Micah, and eventually he stabs you in the chest and in the back, funnily enough.
It's been a lot of fun.
I feel like okay, very good timing, because guys, I feel like endgame Arthur Morgan right now. I'm about to sit down like Jack Marston in that one edit, in that one modded meme where he's like, I got TB.
Yeah, I got TB. I got it. Beating a man to death for a few bucks.
But funnily enough, guys, it's okay, because when I was a baby, they gave me the TB, the tuberculosis jab, in my arm, so I'm good at it, because one of my family members died before I was born to TB. So actually, I don't think this is tuberculosis, unless tuberculosis 2, electric boogaloo. Oh, fuck. But anyway, back to the endings. In the other timeline, you help John up the mountain, but eventually tell him to go on before fighting with Micah, and Dutch saying enough is enough.
We ain't both gonna make it. Go. Now. I'll hold them off. It would mean a lot to me. Please. There ain't no more time for talk. Go.
He's talking crazy.
Up there on the ridge!
I gave you all I had. I did.
Come on. Dutch. Come on, Dutch. Come
Come on!
And walking off and away from the scene of a dying Arthur and a desperate Micah. The core mechanics of combat, horse riding, and gunplay are deeply satisfying, yet what sets Red Dead Redemption 2 apart is its attention to the mundane and the things that most games wouldn't even pay attention to. Hunting, fishing, cooking, and even grooming your horse are all activities that might seem like filler, but are in fact integral to the game's immersive experience. These activities enhance the feeling that you are living in the world, not just moving through it. The moral choices you make are subtle but impactful as well. You can be a ruthless outlaw robbing trains and killing indiscriminately, or you can try to maintain a shred of honor, helping those in need and sparing lives where possible. The honor system affects how NPCs react to you, the state of your gang's morale, and even the progression of the story, ensuring that your decisions feel consequential without being overtly punishing. And by the way, I'm sure you've picked up on it at some point throughout this video because I love that sound effect, but a big part of my channel and a big part of my soundboard for anyone new around here is that low honor sound effect.
What about the other night when you was airing your paunch in every corner?
Man, you stink.
Oh, it stank out here. It sure did.
That weren't the whiskey! It was bad Martin!
Ah!
We got a problem here.
The open world offers countless opportunities for exploration, whether it's tracking down legendary animals, solving environmental puzzles, or stumbling upon random encounters and side quests. The sheer scope of the map, combined with the variety of activities and locations, is one of the game's most impressive achievements. I especially enjoyed that after the mission Banking the Old American Art, where the heist goes wrong and a bunch of your crew die, which is a fantastic mission by the way, arguably the most perfect mission in the entire game.
No! God damn it!
That shit had me locked in, okay? I was doing that position where you're lean forward. That's that. Why did I do that? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna full send. I was lean forward in there like, oh my god, no, Lenny, no. But my point is, after that mission, you end up in Guam, and even that island is absolutely beautiful as well. Albeit with that being said, that island really did remind me of Lost, 2004 to 2010.
Surviving. We were lost.
Well, to be completely honest, everything reminds me of Lost. I absolutely love Lost. Have I mentioned how much I love Lost before? I love Lost 2004 to 2010. In fact, now that I'm really thinking about it, that entire Guam arc really felt like Lost 2004 to 2010. Even when I tried to whistle for my horse purely out of habit, they said, the horse ain't on the island. I said, the island like from Lost? Okay, that's enough now. I'm drilling it into the ground. We're here for Red Dead Redemption. My horses, what? Although with that being said, while Banking the Old American Art may be the best mission in the game, the mission when you're on the island and you have to swing to get out of the rocking chair is one of the single most infuriatingly unnecessary, stupid, fucking idiot missions I've ever seen in my entire life. But regardless, I can't express how much I loved just the sheer amount of things to do in this game and how much game time I could pour into it and how much I have poured into it. It's very reminiscent to me of how much I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey around the same time. I understand we could stand here all day and talk about the downfall or the rise of the Assassin's Creed franchise, and you can have your own opinions on it, and that's fine, but I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I poured so much time, damn near 200 hours of game time into this because of how immersive it was, and the same for me was with Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. Both fantastic worlds, so much to do, so just perfect. Graphically, Red Dead Redemption 2 is nothing short of breathtaking, and this is coming from someone who genuinely does not care whatsoever about graphics, but wow, is she beautiful or what? Graphics mean little to nothing to me. I care about features, but given that we've already touched on the features, every aspect of the world is rendered in jaw-dropping detail, from the intricate textures of the clothing and faces of characters to the vast, expansive landscapes that make you feel as though this game is a literal time machine into the past. Especially the city known as Saint-Denis. Now, recently, just this past weekend, I was in Paris, and I was in Saint-Denis, the real life Saint-Denis, and yeah, I was looking around thinking, hot diggity dog, this place is from Red Dead Redemption 2. I was that person. But seriously, Saint Denis, I can't say enough good things about this city. Like, even still to this day, it will never get old. It's one of the greatest places that Rockstar have ever constructed. And again, I don't say that lightly because there's a lot of places in GTA that are constructed very well. But Saint Denis, my goodness, a masterpiece of a city. It's got the hustle and bustle of old school New Orleans, and it truly is a city that feels alive and so immersive. Even when I played this game on my Steam Deck, it's still so elite and it runs really well. The lighting, especially during sunsets and sunrises, is nothing short of cinematic, and the attention to environmental detail, like the way rain affects the terrain or how the wind moves through the tall grass, adds layers of authenticity to the game's visual presentation. With sweeping orchestral pieces that swell during emotional moments and more somber tunes that capture the melancholic tone of the entire narrative. You know, let me say this very quietly so the bad bitches on Twitter don't hear me, but I'm not saying I've had some bad days in the past where I've listened to Crash of Worlds and just stared out the window, but I might have. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's never showed up on my Spotify Wraps, but I wouldn't be surprised. And if we're talking about the work of the aforementioned Woody Jackson, the song simply entitled American Venom, my god, it'll make any player want to jump on a frickin' horse and ride out with the boys to go settle a score. It's beautiful.
That was Joe. We got the You're fools or what?
The music is not only a complement to the story, but an integral part of the experience, underscoring the themes of loss, hardship, and the passage of time. I think another huge part of what makes this game so alive is the way you can antagonize or be nice to everyone. You can just be riding around and then have a random stranger need your help with something, or someone is being robbed, or a stranger tries to harm you. The world feels like you're living inside it. You feel like you're living the life of these characters, and I cannot stress that enough. For a while there, it was quite a big thing to go ahead and upload those praising and antagonizing TikToks where you're running around as Arthur or John and you're just like, praise, praise, antagonize, praise, like doing that.
Sheriff. Hello, mister.
You're doing a great job. Must be fun, being the town idiot.
You got any idea who you're flapping your gums at?
It's something that I really hope they continue to expand on in future Rockstar games, and if the acting in Red Dead Redemption 2 is anything to go by, then GTA 6 will be a masterpiece. The acting alone between Dutch's voice actor and Arthur's, especially as things got more intense, seriously world class.
Well, I got some Spanish. She was.
You sure you're all right, Dutch?
I am just trying to make sure that some of us survive, Arthur. Now, shall we proceed?
I guess.
This game's cultural impact goes beyond just being considered a great game. The game stands as a monumental achievement in terms of both technical design and narrative ambition. It's a game that's not just about playing, but it's about the experiencing of a world that we will never get to experience, but it is such an expansive world that rewards both meticulous exploration and emotional investment. In the years since its release, Red Dead Redemption 2 has been recognized as one of the finest examples of interactive storytelling. Its influence can be seen in the way open world games are now designed, with an emphasis on environmental storytelling, detailed world building, and a more nuanced approach to narrative. And I can only hope for GTA 6, Rockstar's next project, to be even half as good as Red Dead Redemption 2. I can only hope that the game is as detailed, fun, and legendary as Arthur Morgan's last stand through the world of 19th century America. But perhaps Red Dead Redemption 2's greatest achievement is the emotional connection it develops with everyone that has played this game. And by the time you're finally saying tragically goodbye to Arthur Morgan, this game has changed your life in a profound way. It has changed your entire perception of the world in a way that you can't quite describe. In many ways, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a reflection of the very thing it depicts. A rapidly changing world that is so hard to hang on to, but that is worth trying to understand. It's a game that invites players to slow down, think deeply, and appreciate the journey, whether it's through the wilderness or the pages of history. It's a world that feels lived in, a story that feels deeply personal, and a technical achievement that pushes the boundaries of what video games can achieve. It's a very important reminder of the importance of interactive storytelling and the depth of which these virtual worlds can achieve. Whether you're a casual or a hardcore gamer, this is truly a timeless experience that even in 15 to 20 years, when my kids sit down to play it, it'll still hold up and still change their lives for the better. Don't get me wrong, okay, I understand that this game has its little criticisms, but realistically, po body's no effect. Look, I will never truly be able to say enough good things about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Are you not going to talk about Red Dead Online? What about me? What about me?
Red Dead Online. Yeah, gee, this is a bit awkward. Listen, I'd love to go ahead and talk about Red Dead Online, but,
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
I'd love to talk about Red Dead Online, but... but... Dutch...